Good afternoon, everybody. As you can see here, I am in a car. It looks surprisingly like a small car, and it's been adjusted to fit my own driver's seat, and I can actually control it. It has a level 5 survival engine all the way up to its maximum potential, or maximum power, I guess you want to call it. And it looks pretty good. It's not bad. Today, I'm going to try to race this thing around against 16 of the Season 1 Stock League competitors of the Scrap Mechanic Auto Racing League. If you don't know what those are, I recommend checking out that playlist. I have the entire Season 1. It should be linked somewhere in a card or whatever. But first, what we're going to do is go into the history and tell you guys how these cars actually work and perform the task that they do right now. The idea for auto racers came to me actually in around December of 2017. So we are coming up on 3 years to the day ago that we came up with auto racers. As you can see, I released a video January 1st of my progress of how I was trying to make it. It's a pretty bad video. I want to delete it, but it's kind of good for nostalgia and just figuring out where I came from. And that was Generation 0 or Generation 1, as you can call it. The idea for Generation 1 was just to follow a track similar to this one and just look at the yellow lines and stay within the yellow lines while automatically driving. That idea worked until it didn't. It really couldn't do much at all. It was swiveling all over the place. You could see me testing in that video as well. It just didn't work out. And so that's when I started to change up how I could go about this. About 4 months later, I actually had some pretty cool ideas for a car. What was going on? I don't know what that guy's doing, but this were prototypes. 4 months, I had about 3 final prototypes that all had different functions. One was slow, one was faster, and one was the fastest. They all had different logic. I learned how to do different things, and they all sensed the ground. However, because of the way the curved roads didn't work really well, I made them only be able to sense turns on 90-degree corners. So a turn such as this one would be a right turn. It would sense the different color on the ground and then do its predefined type turn to the right. And that's how I wanted to make races. Someone made a comment on one of those videos telling me, see how many cars you can fit on the track and race them around. And I said, oh, that's a good idea. It worked out for a little bit, but they had too many problems. They kept on running into each other. They kept on messing up. Sometimes they wouldn't sense the ground properly, or they wouldn't turn properly and hit the wall. I had made a gyroscope actually inside of them, and that was supposed to be the concept of how it worked. This was a little gyroscope right here, except it worked the best. It actually did affect, and as you can see here, it actually is affecting how the car can stay straight and whether or not it should adjust itself on the turn. And it did work. But stuff doesn't really work out forever. I always want to improve. Later on, I finally decided to change the way everything works. I wanted to move to custom track pieces. So in the video April 30th of 2018, I made a new racer, or designed a racer and released it on that day, that looked towards the ceiling. It looked up at the ceiling at custom pieces that were actually colored, telling the car to turn left or right. In that video, I raced around 4 of them, and it did work. Right here, what we have in front of us is the yellow racer. It was very simple, relatively simple. It was a spaghetti on the inside, but it looked really good and really small. All I had to do was just cover it up and cover up the gyroscope properly. The only problem with this was the fact that this actually collided with other cars really easily. There are no sensors on the outside to tell where the cars are or where the walls are. I did not yet fit that into this system. After I realized that this system wasn't working, I went to the drawing board. I spent the next year, almost exactly a year, April of 2019 was when I released the first video releasing all of the new information. I decided to move on to use mods. I made a video, made the cars much bigger, and gave them ability to sense walls and other cars and even draft other cars in front of them. Except this time, I am using mods. So, that time I made... oh my gosh. I don't know what I was doing when I was making this, but this is the end result. Oh my goodness. So I used the mod pack and made myself comfortable with the compass. The compass was the major thing. The only thing that the car used the mod for was to check where it was in relations to where it needed to go. The car used sensors right here up front to look at the ceiling, at the custom tile pieces, and turned left or right and stored that data of where it was going to go according to these little memory bits and this compass right here. And that relayed information back to a timing board, which you can see it was all displayed in the video way back then. I got this to work so much that I hosted my first ever Scrap Mechanic Auto Racing League race in April 22nd of 2019. I thought I did well. I thought I was doing so well. The cars were running, they were dodging each other, they were drafting, Except the problem is, people were telling me that they were so slow. Now yes, of course they were slow. I used electric engines at around 1 less than the max speed, which I thought was fast at the time, but apparently people were saying that they were slow, and they came into a lot of issues when it came to running into each other. And I just didn't know what to do. And so I went back to the drawing board. I spent about another year, and in December of 2019, that is when I released the Generation 4 chassis. This is the result. I went from this behemoth, this is the entire chassis of the Gen 2 and Gen 1 cars, that's a lot, to this right here. This was Generation 3, 4, 5, and soon to be maybe 6. This chassis utilized this smart engine from the mod pack to give me more speed than the normal engines, and also utilized my own scripted parts at the bottom and the front that controlled the engines and the steering of the car. So all the logic, instead of being controlled from actual blocks, came from a script, from my own script that I started learning and writing in Lua. With the new code, I was able to use custom tracks really easily because I was able to set up my own checkpoints. I had a mod part that actually let me to press button, press E, run over to the other side of the track, and then press this button right here and press E, and it let me hook up to a Python script that let me set down this portion as a checkpoint. Checkpoints were defined as turns. So just like the color sensing from above and below in the previous generations, I was tunnel visioned on making 90-degree turns that the cars could handle. So this, instead of being colors, is just a virtual checkpoint. It basically told the cars that there is a turning point right here. And then it told another one right here to turn left, left, and which direction the car should be facing in the end. It was really simple, and it worked. However, it took a really long time for me to set up checkpoints for every turn on the track. However, with this new code, the cars were functioning wonderfully. They were faster, they were smarter, they were able to correct themselves, they did all sorts of things. And that's when I started to be able to figure out how to actually host the new SMARL races. Finally, in May of 2020, I decided to release Generation 5. Generation 5 was pretty much the finalized code from Scrap Mechanic, except the finalized model of the bodies weren't that good. They were kind of boxy, and they were still kind of slow. I got a lot of comments on that trailer saying that they were too slow in the trailer and that I needed to speed them up. And so that's what I did. I changed the aerodynamics, even though there are no aerodynamics in Scrap Mechanic. And I also changed the looks and the speed and the functioning of the code, and finally landed on Gen 6. In the end, this is what the Generation 6 chassis looked like. This is the only thing that controls the cars right now. It's literally just wheels, normal car stuff, and then you slap this brain right inside of it, connect it to the wheels, and connect it to everything else in the steering, and boom, you have your entire Generation 6 self-driving race car. I created new body designs, and I will go over how I set customizable body designs and made an entire script to let people submit their own custom designs soon. Generation 6 was the final iteration for my testing period of self-driving race cars, and I made an entire Season 1 of Scrap Mechanic Auto Racing League. Generation 6 was an iteration ahead of Generation 5, of course, that's how it works, but this introduced more racing strategy. It tracked locations, it tracked collision avoidance, it kept track of passing, drafting, turning early, and hitting the apex when it could. However, it still used the 90-degree corners and turning at checkpoints. Eventually, I was able to automate checkpoint generation using an amazing script, which then helped me generate the track tracing for Generation 7, but we will get more on that later. But yeah, this ended up with Generation 6. I made an entire 8-race season with those cars. I adjusted them throughout, made some adjustments to their AI, made them a little bit smarter as it went forward, and I think it was an overall success. However, I still think this is incomplete. So, I started Generation 7. Generation 7 will have an all-new track type. There will be gone with these wide, big, 90-degree turning tracks, and it will allow anybody to design their own tracks to be raced on. And this is now the sneak peek to the Generation 7 chassis. It's a duplicate of this one. You can rearrange it however you want, but it's only 2 blocks. It has the engine and the steering wheel. All you gotta do is connect the steering wheel to the steering wheel's bearings, and then connect the engine to the engine bearings, and then connect the steering to the engine wheel, and then you're good. That's all you will have to do. So anyone can be able to download, attach these to the car, and have them race around their own tracks. that's going to be all for the history of SMARL and how these AI racers drive along the track. It's pretty straightforward. All they do is know where to go and know when to turn and try to avoid each other while avoiding the walls, and then they race with drafting, slipstream effects, and all sorts of other complicated details. If you want to know more about the coding, please let me know, and I will make a separate coding video / tutorial maybe on how I actually coded these cars. Hope you guys enjoyed that dive into history that started way long ago. But right now, it's race time. I have a small controller. It's right here. You can't really see it. It's block not found. It's invisible. But this basically can turn the cars on and off as I please and do whatever I want with them, basically. It also lets me teleport and move around as a camera and then actually move my person. So this helped me actually move around the track to be able to adjust and get things way faster than it would have been to walk. I can just go somewhere, I move over, I right click, and it teleports me to that location. It's pretty good. I'm going to try to race these guys. I don't know how many laps I have it set for, but I think I can do maybe five laps or so might be fine enough. I've also adjusted the AI so that they're a little bit slower because originally these cars are way faster than any engine that already exists in the vanilla scrap mechanic. So I slowed them down to be slightly faster, but I will be faster through the corners. I'm going to try to see if I can get up to the front. Without further ado, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race time. Green flag, everybody. I do have a much faster acceleration than everybody else. I can adjust that if I want to, but I think that's fine. I gave that slow acceleration. Oh my gosh, there's someone still on the lift. Sorry there, Purple Shadow Racing. Well, anyways, that's unfortunate for those guys. That's one less racer to have to race against. Back to the race. We are now in front of at least one person. That's okay. Fiery Dragon will be still trying to get back on track at some point. He's been having a bad race all year anyway, so that's okay. We are behind Purple Shadow Racing right now, owned by Nether Gamer, a mod actually on our Discord channel. So if you want to submit custom cars to put in and race, let me know. I will let you guys know in a YouTube channel or video, YouTube video in the future. But right now we're just going to have fun looking at the post-mortem of Generation 6. We got past Purple Shadow Racing really well actually, and now it's a huge gaggle of cars, about 5, which has what? That's Typhoon Blade, Penny King, Neon Annihilator, White Rider, and Legends Tire actually. So I'm going to try to see if I can get past them on the turn here. Right here, we are actually, as you noticed, if you've actually followed along with SMARL, we are on the Mystic Raceway, actually. This was race 7, I believe, race 7 of 8 in the season, so this was a pretty fun one. There's not too many technical sections because I didn't want the cars to be, messing around too much this race, but in the future, when I make more versions or do the other episodes of this series, I will be doing the different tracks. I don't think I'll be doing all 8 tracks, but I will do at least 2 or 3. Oh, huge spin in a fight. Oh my goodness, and a spin for me. What the heck? I just got completely bumped over by somebody there. That's not good. Well, Blue Bruiser was there with me, so we got past them. At least. First lap has just been completed, and I am pretty much in the same spot, if not worse off, than when I started. That's not good. But it looks like still everyone is together way up there, so first place is still really doable within at least 2 or 3 laps. Let's see if we can catch up with those other 15 cars. The key to beating these guys are being faster. They're really, actually in real racing and in sim racing and all sorts of racing, the fastest player takes the best racing line through every corner. And these cars do not know the racing line. Generation 6 cars don't know the perfect racing line, as I explained earlier when I was going through how this works. So if you skip that, you can probably rewind and see how this works. But I'm a human, so I know pretty much how these 90-degree corners should work. And so I'll be cutting the apex, getting past Sniper's Dream and Typhoon Blade as they spun each other out. Hopefully they can recover in time, but that's okay. We're now back side by side with Purple Shadow Racing. And going to go through this turn. We don't have the room to cut around, but if we slow down slightly, we should be able to get the inside and a much better exit than at least Neon Annihilator and Purple Shadow. That puts us ahead of them for now, except they will get the top end speed as I spin out. Wow, nearly spun out there. It's hard to control these cars on these surfaces at this high speed. All right, so in case you guys were wondering what the full speed is, I forgot to actually mention this in the video. I don't know where I'm going to cut this in, actually, when I'm editing. I'll probably put this like right in the middle of the race. But you guys probably are wondering what the full exact speed is of the original SMARL racers. I said that I turned them down so that I could like make it a little bit more fair for myself. Please note that this is a fully strength gas engine of survival engine, because those are actually faster than the creative engines. And this is how much faster the other cars are. And those aren't even at full speed yet. Those were just still accelerating. So yeah, that's how fast that these cars can go, and can go actually much faster on longer straights. Like, it's kind of insane. All right, going through this turn onto the front stretch. Lap 2 is going to be complete. Wow, pushed out, nudged out wide by Purple Shadow Racing, which is a good move on them. They don't actually know that I'm here by their computer, so I have to avoid them. They will not be trying to avoid me yet. In Generation 7, which should be coming out in the future, they will avoid anybody and everybody that's trying to race against them. A great move into turn 1, getting me past Legends Tire, who spun out nearly there with Neon Annihilator. Purple Shadow Racing, I am solid in front of them. And now I gotta just stay behind and maybe tuck in behind White Rider and Chaos Shifter. If I can get this turn cleanly, I'm gonna have to go on the brakes a little bit, giving Neon Annihilator a little bit of a nudge. Sorry there, but that's okay. Wow. Oh, and there goes Purple Shadow. Okay. If I can just cut the chicane really well, good. All right. Good, 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 good. Making progress slowly but surely, and I get spun out and lose control at the same time by Chaos Shifter. Goodness. Chaos Shifter actually came last in the standings, spoiler alerts, for the Season 1, so I'm not too, like, mad about that. Black Knight, I think it was the winner for Season 1. Also, more spoilers in case you didn't really watch the season yet, but they're leading right now, and that's pretty cool. Neon Annihilator trying to get past White Rider. Wow. I don't know what happened there, but I think that was a scrap mechanics physics thing. That's not good. Dang it. Now I gotta catch back up. Now I'm back to Blue Bruiser. Wow. I was doing so well to get up in front, but now I gotta catch up to the back again. Luckily, I'm not too far behind. I can go around this turn, maybe in the next 2 corners I can catch up to Black Knight and Lemon Racer. Blue Bruiser will cover the inside, so I can't make the perfect run on them, so I will get past them though. Because I was able to carry more speed, and usually when they carry too much speed around these corners, they tend to slide out and spin out. So I just lowered their cornering speed, even though I can increase it. As I've mentioned before, I do have the ability to increase the top speed, acceleration, cornering speed, and I think that's it so far of these racers. So I can do that on the fly if I want. So if I want to slow these guys down so I can catch up, I could, but I'm not going to do that. I think this is lap 3 now. I am back at the back of the pack of massive pack, actually, of all 15 or 14, 13 racers. I'm going to spin out Grasshopper there. I think they deserve that. And I'm going to get past Purple Shadow Racing. My target is Black Knight. I just got to get up front, cut through, thread the needle between, oh my goodness, Purple Shadow and Red Thunder. Nicely done by me. And not spin out as I run into Neon Annihilator. All right, Red Thunder is coming through. So is Chaos Shifter. They probably don't like that move I just did. And Legends Tire, payback on Red Thunder right there, spinning him around that corner. That gives me more space and room to fight. Good. Now we're here in the top 6, and I spin. Of course I spin. I don't know why I just did that. And now I flip. Wow. I really am terrible at driving these things. I should just release this model right here on the workshop. I know I've already released some other models before. But if you guys want to race this model specifically, I'll put the link in the description if you guys say so. Just leave a comment or message me on Discord or whatever, and I'll do that. Another lap has gone by, and I am pretty much in the back again. Legends Tire is back here, though, so that's pretty good. And Lamop Industries made a little mistake through turn 1, or probably got spun out, most likely. Now I can get past them, which is good. Grasshopper got past me still. Goodness, that's not good. First person view is pretty cool. Actually, this isn't bad. It's no driver's seat since the car is only 3 wide and has symmetry of 3. I can only use the driver's saddle to make it actually even looking, but this is actually a pretty good view. I like this. All right, let's see if I can finish the rest of this race in first person. There goes Blue Bruiser. We can get past him on the inside. We're going to slow down a little bit, get up the back, and see if we can cut through the inside. Nice, nice, nicely done. Good move by me. He will try to come back with the top speed, and that's, goodness, they are so fast. Even with the slowed down speeds, they're way faster than a fully maxed out engine. I think this is a gas engine. But we will get the turn speed, which is good. Typhoon Blade getting past them and White Rider. Coming down onto the final turn before the front stretch, Typhoon Blade runs past. I'm going to try to cut up the inside in front of White Rider. And, oh, there's no room there. Typhoon Blade closes the door. Sweet Haze gets spun out, and I nearly hit him. Goodness. I survived, though. I did survive. That's good. I think Sweet Haze might be stuck on the wall forever now, because that's a really precarious spot. Black Knight seems to have been thrown down the order a little bit behind Purple Shadow Racing and Lemon Racer and Neon Annihilator. I'm just going to stick on his corner and his backside, run him into the wall, and get spun out by Blue Bruiser. What? What the heck, man? I do recover, though, which is pretty good, and so does Black Knight, but that's fine. Sweet Haze is still stuck, I believe. We're going to give him maybe a little nudge if we can pass him on the corner, but that's okay. We are going to go straight, cut through the corner. Beautiful. Wow. I mean, the scrap mechanic handling physics is not really good, so I'm pretty proud of myself for being able to actually make it this far with all these racers trying to cut through them. We're now right up next to Blue Bruiser, getting on Typhoon Blade's tail, going up the inside. If we can, hold him off. There we go. Beautifully done. We're going to have as much exit speed as possible so we can at least have our door next to Typhoon Blade, but he's... Goodness, they guys just zooms past me using the slipstream of Neon Annihilator. I'm going to try to make a cut back on all three of them. Purple Shadow Racing, Neon Annihilator, and Typhoon Blade. It's good. And we're here. Perfect. Now we are in third place. Penny King leads with Lemon Racer in second. Actually, Typhoon Blade just got past me, so now I'm in fourth. Come around this corner, it looks like... Ah, Sweet Haze actually got unstuck. Nice. And we make the move on Typhoon Blade, and we're right next to Lemon Racer. Goodness. Let's just make this next lap our last lap. If we can catch Penny King by this lap, I'll consider this an absolute win. Alright, making it through, cutting through turn 1, cutting the inside of both of them. Nicely done. Well done, and now that puts me nicely on the rear of Penny King. Lemon Racer is going to come up really quickly, though, using the slipstream of Penny... Actually, no, I think they're outside of slipstream range, so that puts me and Penny King out for almost the rest of this lap. Good. Good. Penny King. Slow through that corner. I will get past him through the chicane, hopefully, if I can. Up the outside. Oh, that was close. Oh my goodness, that was so close. All right, good. That puts me up in the front. I'm now in first place. Now I have to hold off these quick racers for the rest of this lap. Bad thing about Mystic Raceway, it is mostly hairpins and long straights. So all the cars with the high top end speeds will be able to catch up to me really quickly. Other races like Beckwith Raceway and I think Salty Circuit, which is a long one, has a lot of technical sections which make the cars go really slow, and that'll let me beat them really easily. So I'll probably turn up their top speeds on those races. Beautifully done by me. There's no way that I can lose now. Penny King is far behind, way in my mirrors. I actually don't have mirrors in this game, but it'd be cool if they did. I just have to not make a mistake on this last corner right here, and I'll be good to go. Which I kind of do make a mistake. I had to brake a little bit as I was starting to drift, but that's not enough mistake for Penny King to catch up. I will take the win. I will cross the line victoriously. Nicely done by me. I say this, but these cars would have clearly beat me in a normal SMARL race if I had SMARL engine speeds. But it's okay. Good. I hope you guys enjoyed this little segment of Gen 6 post-mortem as I release more and more information about how these cars work and maybe release the code. That'll be on GitHub at some point. But next episode, we will be going through the technical sections. I will have another race at the final place, which is Minty... I think it was Minty Motorway or something like that. Yeah, the ice place. We're going to have a race there next time. I will be talking about the technical sections of SMARL and how I got the timing board and everything else working. But until then, I hope you guys have a great morning, afternoon, night, or evening, and I will see you next time.